if you're feeling lost, just like me, I wanted to give you some tips on how to navigate yourself through life in some sort of way. Of course, I can't tell you what you can or cannot do, so I can't tell you exactly how to do it, but I can tell you some things that have made me like calm down and stop panicking. Because the whole reason you'd want to navigate through life or find a way is to stop panicking and not be so worried. But a lot of people nowadays find that comfort in finding a mid-wage job or just a job that pays decently well for something that they don't really want to do. Or if they're comfortable enough and they don't hate their job, they'll stay in that job, never exploring anything. And that happens because when you're younger, like say my age, like I'm almost 18, I'll be 18 next year, and that happens because they don't really, while they're in school, they don't really think about what they could do, or they don't have a plan. So they just go through with school, go into university, and then find themselves working a mid-wage job. And it happens so fast. And I'm with you here. Like, that type of stuff happens really quickly. You don't even realize one day you're in school, having the time of your life. Everything is easy. Just do some exams now and then, and you go through your life. You do whatever you want. You can do side hustling. You can go do anything, whatever you want. But when I tell you it gets more difficult, I'm telling you it gets more difficult, and that's what I'm starting to realize. And I'm currently in college, so I'm in year 13, and that's like a UK thing. I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but um um after that it will be next university, an apprenticeship, all that stuff, whatever. And I've chosen myself personally to do a gap year because I still want to figure myself out. Sounds like a cliche movie thing, but that is what I want to do. I want to figure out what I want to do. I want to explore life, live life a little bit. And a lot of people find that in university. And what the problem with university is that not just the student debt and all of that stuff that comes with it, but more of trying to keep yourself as young as possible for as long as possible. Because people, it's not necessarily that people love the academia part, they just like the social part, and being able to socialize with random people, all that stuff, just party, that sort of lifestyle. And it doesn't last. It really doesn't. It extends the time that is inevitable, and a lot of people don't realize that. They just do things just because it extends their time to be a kid, basically. But it will always end. Without a plan, it will always end. And that's something that people just won't realize nowadays, unless you really need the uni. If you're doing, say, you're becoming a doctor or lawyer, whatever it is, okay, obviously you're going to do uni. But a lot of people go into it because it is the easiest way to just move on with your life. But really, you're not moving on at all. You're in the same sort of headspace, social, party life, and it's not really benefiting you. That's why people end up in mid-wage jobs. And I feel like for me, I'm really confused in life. I'm not sure what I want to do. Like, I've got a rough idea of what I want to do, but at the same time, it's like it's just not there yet. And a lot of people, um, I'm gonna say stop saying a lot of people, but um, it is a general thing, like public opinion, I guess, or more of a like structure type thing that you should know what you want to do. But having a rough idea is way more beneficial. And if you still don't know what you want to do by the time it's like time for you to get a job or whatever, there's never a time for you to get a job. Like, but you know a rough idea of what I'm talking about. You just take a gap year. If you really don't know, you take a gap year. Even if you can't like afford it, you work hard, you do something, you just find something. Obviously you have to prep for it, so you need to find a way to do this stuff. But if you can't take a gap year, it's just good to think during the time that, say, you're doing uni or an apprenticeship, of what you want to do next. And you don't always have to think ahead, because people are so obsessed with just having a straight path. But what I'm talking about is having a rough idea of what you want to do, and if not, having the determination, because determination goes a long way. If you're just determined not to find out what you want to do, but more determined to try out new things, that thing that you want to do, you will find out. And when you try to find these things that you want to do, you need to try a range of stuff. So things that are enjoyable, and the investment really is worth it. I've been wanting to do some basketball. Like, it's a very basic thing. I do football sometimes now and then, but I'm trying to do basketball. I want to skate. And a big problem nowadays is when I talk to people on the street, because I've always been anxious socially. So I've been recently, like over the past month, I've been talking to people on the street and just getting my confidence level up. I made a video on that and how easy it is. Well, not very easy, but how simple it is. I've talked to many people, and a lot of them, it's not that they're confused on what they want to do and they've thought about stuff or tried stuff, but they just don't try anything. It's not that they're lazy, but they just feel like, let me just go with the flow. Let me just let life take me. And that's something that I believe in, like going with the flow. But a lot of them go with the flow in the wrong way, and it's that they just let the education system guide them to life. But the problem is with that is that the education system is just, it pumps out workers. I'm not saying this like a matrix thing or whatever, because we do still need to have like people that do work in the world. It's not like, oh, everyone should be an entrepreneur or business like owner, because that doesn't work. But it means that you need to like take charge of your life. You need to do things that will benefit you, and not like self-improvement stuff that will just keep you doing like useless stuff. I made a video about that too. I go into depth in that video, but not doing things that are not going to help you out. And a lot of people just have that thought process, and it really does ruin a lot of paths. Like, I personally don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm really interested in like robotics and stuff, just to put that out there. I've always been a creative person. The thing is, they don't clash, but if I wanted to do robotics in a company, they would start to clash eventually. So trying to find a balance between that is very difficult, and I'm trying to find that throughout my years. And a lot of people are scared to do that with whatever they want to do as well, because it feels so daunting. And I've felt it recently too, how daunting it is, because I'm almost finished with college. I'm going to be an adult soon, so it is quite difficult to process because time went so fast. One day I was like 15, 16, the next I'm going to be 18. So the difference isn't insane, but the difference in academics and life is different. Not just the ages, but the academics and life in general. It does change. And my perception has been changed for a while, because I feel like I'm quite mature for my age. I do like to think about things in a deeper sense. I think it's more of a thing where I've brought that up and brought that on for myself, rather than naturally, because a lot of people naturally think this deeply, I'm this intelligent, but I think of this manually until it starts to become a habit of thinking deeply. I do get distracted, but I do try and get back on track. But besides the point, with what I'm trying to say is that try new things, and don't just focus so much on trying the new things that look good per se, but trying anything. It could be flipping, I don't know, if you play basketball, it could be, instead of playing on your ones, like by yourself, maybe try and play with a friend. Even as small differences that can maybe even decide if you want to, say, play basketball, for example, or something for your career. Something small. It doesn't have to be a career, but it needs to be something that you just feel like you can do and feel happy. You don't have to stay with it forever. You can always change, because I'm a person that loves change. I love change everywhere I can get it. Like, I like everything, just change, this, that. A lot of people don't like change, but I love change. I like everything to change, as I said already. But yeah, it can you can take different paths every time. You can always switch. There's never too late to switch whatever you want to do. This might be cliche advice, but this is just a video idea out here. Like, I just wanted to talk about. It's not going to get the most engagement, but who cares? You know, this is just one step closer to getting me to start thinking in a deeper sense permanently, because that is my goal, to think in a deeper way permanently. Always having fun is like something that I don't want for myself. Like, it doesn't mean, no, I always, let me rephrase that. I want to be able to have fun, but also be able to think deeply and not have to sacrifice one for another. Because this summer I've been sacrificing thinking deeper and just thinking a bit smarter and being in tact with my emotions less than just having fun and thinking about such insignificant things that just does I don't stand for. So yeah, this deep thinking can really get you to where you want to be. And it's not always about being where you want to be, but always being content with where you are, but also striving for a little bit more. Always strive for a little bit more, and that's just how humans develop. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Not the best video I've made. My mind is not in the right space, as I've said at the start of the video. So I don't have the best ideas currently. But if you do have any ideas, put in the comments what you want me to talk about, and I'll think about like if it's something that I want to talk about. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, it was a Buns video. It was bad, but goodbye.